No one believed me when I said my $250,000 prize bull had been shot by some clueless, out-of-state hunter wearing Gucci sunglasses and $2,000 boots. They thought I was joking or maybe exaggerating. But I had it all on camera. And the real kicker? It wasn't just some random trespasser. The man had been given permission to hunt in my land by none other than the president of the local HOA, a woman who thought she ran the whole valley like a queen perched on her cardboard throne. Let me back up. I'm Logan Mercer. I'm 42 years old, a widower, and I run Mercer Ridge Ranch with my 16-year-old daughter, Brenna. We're in Montana, just outside Glacier National Park, where the mountains are jagged and proud and the land has memory etched into every tree, ring, and rock. The Mercer Ranch has been in my family for 3 generations. Over 500 acres of prime cattle land. We're known around here for breeding show-quality bulls. But none more prized than Titan, our pride and joy. Titan wasn't just livestock. He was family. Brenna raised him from a calf, bottle-fed him, brushed him every day, whispered to him like he was a secret. He wasn't just valuable, was the culmination of a dream that started with my late wife, Camille, who passed away from cancer 6 years ago. It was Camille who first pushed me to go beyond standard beef production and invest in top-tier genetics. Think long-term, she said. Think about what we're leaving Brenna. Titan won national championship titles last year, and his lineage alone was projected to carry our ranch's name for decades to come. He wasn't just money, it was legacy. For a long time, life on the ranch was predictable. There were disputes from time to time, neighbors squabbling over irrigation rights or livestock wandering onto the wrong property, but it was all handled over coffee, handshakes, and mutual respect. Then everything changed when the property adjacent to ours was sold to a developer. They built a community called Pine Hollow Estates, 500 homes crammed onto what used to be grazing pasture. The people who moved in weren't ranchers. They were tech executives, retired lawyers, Instagram influencers, and one woman named Cheryl Hartman, a former Chicago marketing executive with a knack for acting like she invented fresh air. Cheryl became the HOA president, and from day one, she treated us like we were squatters on her curated slice of Montana. The first time I met Cheryl was at the county fair. She sauntered over to our booth with a grin so practiced it looked painful. "Mr. Mercer," she said, like she was chewing glass. "I've heard so much about your operation." Her tone made it sound like we were cooking meth, not breeding cattle. She rattled on about revitalizing the local economy and embracing symbiotic growth with indigenous enterprises. That's how she described my family's ranch, on indigenous enterprise. I knew right then we had a problem. Brenna saw it too. She looked at our cows like they were something she stepped in, she muttered as Cheryl walked off. I tried to be civil. I ignored the passive-aggressive letters from the HOA about how the odor from our cattle was disturbing the tranquility of their outdoor yoga sessions. But it escalated. Brenna, who's a gifted photographer, started documenting Cheryl's strange behavior walking along our property line, measuring things, taking notes like a land appraiser without a license. I brushed it off. Spring calving season was in full swing and I had more urgent things to do. Then, one crisp morning in early April, I heard the gunshot. It echoed through the valley like a scream. I sprinted toward the sound and found Titan lying near the creek that marks the boundary between our property and Pine Hollow. Blood seeped from his shoulder. He was breathing, but barely. His eyes rolled wide and scared. Brenna arrived on her ATV moments later. She dropped to her knees, sobbing. It took everything in me not to cry too. But there wasn't time for that. I called Dr. Inez Marquez, our vet, and the county sheriff. Sheriff Ray Dalton and I have had our run-ins. He's by the book, and last year he fined me for not clearing enough brush near the fence line after a small fire. So when he showed up, he didn't exactly radiate sympathy. "Another incident out here, huh?" he muttered, inspecting Titan like he was a crime scene. I showed him the boot prints in the mud, the high-end rifle shell casing, and a swatch of expensive fabric snagged on my barbed wire. Dalton raised a brow. "Poacher, maybe?" he offered half-heartedly. "But who shoots a domestic bull?" He promised to investigate, but I didn't believe him. Then came the text message that turned everything. It was from my old neighbor. Gerald Massoni lived on a small patch of land within Pine Hollow, a holdout who never joined the HOA. The message read, "You're gonna want to see this. Your HOA queen is selling hunting trips on your land. Attached was a glossy brochure from Cheryl's HOA offering an exclusive trophy hunting experience on 700 acres of pristine private wilderness. Pine Hollow itself only covered 200. The other 500? That was my land. I was shaking with rage. Titan was still alive barely. Dr. Marquez said he needed immediate surgery, and even if he survived, he might never breed again. The financial blow alone was staggering. We began Titan's care immediately. Dr. Marquez performed a 4-hour surgery repairing damaged muscle and removing the bullet. Brenna and I built a padded recovery stall in the barn. She managed his meds, cleaned his wounds, and even designed a custom sling using instructions from veterinary journals. She was tireless. Real neighbors started stopping by. Some Pine Hollow folks came too, shame written all over their faces. One old woman sat and read to Titan every afternoon. Children drew him pictures. He became more than a bull. He became a symbol. But I wasn't finished. We installed trail cameras and caught Cheryl, Councilman Thomas Riley, and her adult son Brandon surveying our property at night. Cheryl had also forged updated zoning maps claiming my creek was part of Pine Hollow. Brandon, a green lawyer fresh out of law school, swaggered into town acting like he could outtalk anyone into surrendering their land. We turned to Paul Langston, a retired rancher and former attorney who had known my father. Paul took one look at the fake map and muttered, "This is criminal fraud." Together, we dug out old survey records and Brenna pulled social media receipts. A wealthy hunter named Everett Langford, yes, the Gucci-wearing idiot, had posted selfies near Titan the day before the shooting. In one, he even bragged about bagging Montana's rarest trophy. Paul filed injunctions. Dr. Marquez gave statements. Brenna assembled a digital dossier that would make any investigative journalist proud. We caught Brandon and another HOA crony moving boundary markers on hidden camera. And then came the emails. Brenna, while visiting a Pine Hollow friend, accessed a community computer left logged into Cheryl's HOA admin account. In plain sight, emails from Cheryl to Everett offering premium access to a prized bull whose genes had won awards. She even joked, "Don't miss worth more than your Porsche." We had them. But Cheryl hit back hard. She filed a harassment suit, claimed Brenna hacked her account. Sheriff Dalton reluctantly investigated. But once we explained how Brenna accessed a publicly available terminal with no login required, even Dalton began to frown in thought. "I'm not saying you're right yet," he told me, "but this stinks." Maggie Brewer, a local journalist, picked up the story. Her piece on the bull, the boundaries, and the HOA gone rogue went viral. Cheryl tried to spin the media, calling us anti-progress extremists. But Maggie's second article included the forged maps, the trail cam footage, and excerpts from the hunting emails. Then we set the trap. We arranged a meeting at a restaurant. Sheriff Dalton, now fully on board, monitored from a nearby table. Paul, Brenna, and I met Cheryl, Brandon, and Councilman Riley. Cheryl offered a deal: sell her 200 acres cheap and she'd make the lawsuit disappear. I asked questions. Let them talk. Brandon, eager to show off his legal know-how, rambled about revised zoning and access rights. Riley mentioned VIP hunters. Then Brenna dropped the bomb, a photo of Everett aiming at Titan, timestamped and geotagged. "You don't want to do this," Cheryl hissed. "You have no idea who I know." That's when Dalton and the deputies moved in with warrants, arrests, and FBI backup. Turns out Everett Langford was already under investigation for wildlife trafficking. Cheryl and Riley were charged with conspiracy, fraud, illegal hunting, and abuse of public office. Cheryl's empire collapsed in days. Brandon lost his license before he could use it. Riley resigned in disgrace. Everett went to prison. Titan, meanwhile, slowly healed. He would never be the same, but he was alive. His first post-recovery calf was named Justice. Brenna earned a journalism scholarship for her work. And I created the Titan Fund, a nonprofit to help small ranchers fight back against land theft and fraud. Sometimes, it takes more than fences to keep your home safe. Sometimes it takes a daughter, a wounded bull, and a community too stubborn to be erased. And Cheryl? Last I heard, she was assigned to work detail on a prison-run cattle ranch. I hope she's learning the difference between a bull and a bad idea.